If she had only been ugly.
Tom Irrera, live from the Laugh Factory with my friend Rick Overton. Oi, boy. How are you, Rick?
Tom, thanks, brother.
Good to see you, my friend.
Good to see you, my friend.
Well, we got to do a little bit of a different show today because we want to have fun, we want to be funny, we
We'll
want
do that too.
to light it up, but we also want to talk about our respects for Robin Williams.
That's right.
And Rick was a really good friend of Robin's, and I would consider myself a pal and a comrade.
That's right, you were.
But Rick
Lovely.
was. So last time I saw Robin, we did your podcast.
At the Greenblatt's upstairs.
It was fun, man.
That was great. What a pleasant surprise.
It's always nice when Robin Williams drops in.
Always nice.
It always adds to. You know, Rick, I've been thinking about this, and I know all the horrible and all that, but I was thinking about the talent level that he was at. I don't think I know anybody more talented. Because
Renaissance man. And
Well,
it kind of started, not every Renaissance man helps start a Renaissance. They do a lot of things, you know, but he did it and they became so popular, it started lots of larger things. He really helped start the Renaissance in comedy in some ways.
Well, the fact that he was such a great dramatic actor, you know, was what blew me away. Because obviously he's a great comedian, you know, the terrific comedic actor. But when he was in Good Will Hunting and
Great actor without
great actor,
just no trappings of just brilliant in and of itself, and not doing a word of his own stuff, doing completely what's on script, and crushing it.
Did you see that coming?
Yeah.
See, I didn't.
Yeah.
I didn't. Not that I doubted him. I just didn't know he had that too. Because Letterman said something very interesting, and one of the things I like about Letterman, I mean, there are certain things that bother me about David. You know, his arrogance and his insecurities, obviously, but I think he's got a good soul. I think that when he said about watching Robin the first time,
Yeah.
and he was going, "What are we doing? We can't do this. This is out of our league." You know what I mean? He was talking about watching him at the Comedy Store for the first time, and
It's not standing there and talking, is it?
no, he did a whole theater,
Right.
whole theater piece. I remember watching him at the Comedy Store just not long ago, and he had 10 bottles of water.
Yeah, he went through them too.
And I don't know how he did it without peeing.
Sweat. It's all sweat, man.
True. Now, I just want to reflect on my memories because I know you have a lot. I remember him. I first met him in New York, and he asked me to do improvs with him, and that's how I became buddies with him. And I know you did a lot of improvs with him, but it started out, and it gave me some credibility because he was already a star. And it gave, like, who's this guy with him? So he was doing me a favor by just performing with me, getting me on stage at Catch. And
he just loved to perform. He was doing himself a favor too, you know.
Yeah, well,
that's how much he loved, and he has to respect you to get up and play.
Yeah.
He's not going to risk that with an anchor, you know.
Yeah, well, I know that you guys did a lot in San Francisco, right?
We did.
For Tom Sawyer and...
Yeah, and then later on at the Throckmorton in Mill Valley. That's most recently we were doing that. I just had another one booked for the 9th.
Oh, you did?
Still do.
For September 9th, you had him booked? Wow.
We were going to, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's sad. It's very weird.
It's very weird.
And
it's very surreal.
And I have to tell the audience out there what you had told me about him, because it had to be a brain chemistry thing. It wasn't him. It wasn't in his...
Yeah.
It was just...
I know the guy well enough to know the person who decided to do that wasn't the same guy.
Yeah.
And now, and there's tons of research coming out about how surgery modifies your depression. You can come out massively depressed after heart surgery. 40% of people who get heart surgery become suicidal.
Really?
Yes.
Wow.
And then Parkinson's.
Yeah.
Parkinson's has an Alzheimer's-like effect in a dementia, and which can come in subtly as in heightened depression, making your brain draw conclusions that aren't recognizable to the rest of your behavior.
Wow.
And then medication for it could even exponentialize that. It was the perfect storm of every angle elements coming in, spearheading him from every direction you turned. And
you had no indication.
I had some indication of the dwindling communication. And I know he's in a deep one when the responses on the text are really brief. and I'm starting to see short phrases. And I know after the crazy ones got canceled, he fell into a deeper place. But all of that, he's been through things that failed before. He is enjoyed.
Did he take when the show got canceled? Did he take that hard?
Sure, but that was partly because how hard he was taking it was being modified by the chemistry.
Right. You know what's funny about it? It's like you look at his career, and like, what the fuck does he have to prove?
Right.
I mean, like, so his show got canceled. Shows get canceled
Unless your brain isn't assembling A to B equals C anymore.
Yeah.
It looks. You have goggles that look like magnifying glasses that blow up everything, so we look at it and it doesn't look as a big a problem to us as it looks to him because it's an exaggerator.
Oh, I should mention that Jamie Masada, the Laugh Factory owner, mentioned to Rick and I that, which is very kind of him. He's got,
Very nice.
He's got a good heart. He's got a therapist on duty. We're all fucking nuts, but comedians, we've been dropping off like flies. So
Jesus.
obviously somebody needs help, and certainly isn't us. We don't need any help.
We're pretty durable survivors.
Very,
we're
very
weebles.
stable.
We'll wobble, but we won't fall down, right?
But anyway, Jamie has a therapist here for a comedian, just to let them know. You don't have to be a member of the club here to get therapy.
Yeah, call in, check in, and he will help you.
Yeah, and she's hot too.
Yeah.
She's very hot. She's I think she digs me.
And smart, and
You didn't get yourself one?
I'm good, thanks.
Thank you.
I have to go back out. Look at myself.
Thank you, Greg, our producer. I hope he's here for a while because he's very good, and once we get somebody good, well, maybe Dior will take your spot.
Yeah, he'd be good.
He's good too.
Yeah.
At least
Too
it's
sweet,
not.
Don. Too sweet.
I'm too sweet.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
You're sweet and low.
Man never told me that before. Cute, thin little thing. A waif.
A wafer.
So I was thinking of him and Mrs. Doubtfire,
That's right.
and I was thinking how much fun he must have had.
Yeah, we had fun.
Oh, you were in it.
Yeah.
What'd you do in that?
I'm the maitre d' in the restaurant.
Oh,
That's
that's
running back
right.
and forth
I
on
forgot.
bridges, and
I've seen Rick. I've seen you in so many movies that you show up in.
Yeah.
You were in Brownies, right, with Kevin Pollak?
Willow.
What's that?
Willow.
Is that what it's called?
Yeah.
Oh, you were a brownie though.
Played a brownie.
Oh, okay.
On TV. Because it was on TV. But, yeah, it was also fun. But it
What
was
other
great.
movie credits do you have, Rick?
Well, was in The Informant, with a lot of the comedians. Matt Damon, I played his boss. Was just in Haunted House 2. And, I was in Groundhog Day, Beverly Hills Cop, stuff like that.
Yeah, I remember. I remember just seeing you show up. Go, that's fucking Rick.
Yeah.
Because Lisa and I, when we came to the Improv in 1980, you were like the big star there, and you were always one of our favorites, if not our favorite. And it was just fun because Overton's on, and it's so funny how times have changed. Like maybe because of cocaine, but you had the midnight spot, which was the primo spot. Now the place would be empty.
The Coke days are decades ago, even though some people still, they play with it.
How
It's
the
not-
fuck do they survive?
How do they survive? How does the ticker still keep beating?
I don't know.
The reason people stay home now is because you got to pay for parking and babysitter or click at home. It hurt
Yeah.
a lot of the business, and so people go home early because mom and dad both work. They were living on a different kind of income curve as middle class people back then, and that kind of money is not available to them now. They're tired, and they don't want to go out as much, and it's done a lot of harm. That's why we luxuriated in a kind of a setting where society took better care of the people for them to have the luxury of us.
Boy, the clubs were packed in those days.
You remember the golden days, man?
Well, I don't want to do that to the staffs here today because actually the Laugh Factory is very hot.
No, there's a hot, but I'm saying the boom across everywhere, in the boom days,
Yeah.
that part went away.
Well,
and I don't want to. I don't want to say because look, you have to be good to beat those other elements.
Yeah.
The fact that it jams means it's that good here, and the people who are here are so hot and so funny that you have to get out to see them. But the fact that there used to be clubs that were just open, and the fact that it said comedy were just jammed because of the word was on the sign.
Yeah.
I think that part's not around anymore.
No, they have to have somebody.
You got to stand. You got to back it
One
up.
of the things that the end of the 80s did by putting everybody on television, they also saw who they didn't like by seeing everybody.
Right.
So the guys that were good they ended up liking and filling their pockets with cash, and the guys that they didn't like, then they're gone. The guys that the MC who had an attitude, I don't do that. I remember like this MC who's like, I think you're a fucking MC here. You're lucky to be here.
Yeah.
I don't do that. I'm not doing the evening at the Improv. Fuck that. I'm waiting for my own series.
That might be the way you cover for the fact that they rejected you.
Right. Yeah.
And make it look like it's your idea. You can't leave me, bitch. I'm leaving you first. That's right. These tears of happiness because I'm leaving you.
Tears of joy.
Tears of joy. I'm free.
Now, did Mort get canceled or did he leave? Do you remember?
I think just ran his course. Yeah, and he's heating up too much with films.
Now, how did you guys meet?
We met a Catch a Rising Star with Lane Boozler came in with him, and I'd seen him a few shows before, but we finally got to meet in I guess it was '77 or something like that at Catch, and I'd been aware of him before that, and I think we briefly brushed by and said hello. But to really get to know each other was right about then, because he'd heard I have a reputation that I play on stage and do improv.
Rick's a terrific improv guy.
You too, brother.
We have the
distinction of
being the first guys on
HBO
to do live improv.
That's right.
That's pretty cool.
Record holder.
Yeah.
First ones out of the gate, man.
I remember that. I wasn't nervous at all. I was so confident in you that it made me relaxed.
Oh, it's mutual, man.
Thanks. I just knew you because you always knew how to listen, and you always fucking bailed us out. You always bailed us out, no matter what it was.
You too. Thanks. I enjoyed that a lot. Those are the forming of one's own identity. Still, however old we were kids at this.
Yeah.
And as kids at that, we were just learning who the hell we were. What a fun way to find out.
I loved it, and I really got disappointed when I saw certain improv groups were not really improvising; they were doing skits over again.
Yeah.
God bless them; they have a right to do whatever entertains, but they gave you the illusion they were doing improv, and we were really doing improv.
Doing the actual version, yeah.
And we didn't have anything rehearsed. It's not like we sat and I'll say she has big tits, and then you say you're a carpenter, and then, hey, I saw this last night.
Hey, you missed the carpenter line. I'm sorry, I was winging it. You don't fucking wing it with an improv.
I think whose line is it anyway? And I love those guys, and they're good They're good improvisers.
Yeah.
And I heard they rehearse that. They do it over.
Yeah, they kind of come up with it at an earlier point, sort of like with a Christopher Guest film. There is a point at which it's all workshopped and improvised, but by the time he's setting cameras up, he'd sort of like to know where the camera moves go. And as a director, I can understand that unless you have 3 floating handhelds going the whole time.
I guess it's taking too much of a risk. That's a brilliant group. Christopher Guest and those people.
Ed Begley and Mike McKeon and, a lot of the SCTV people.
That was my favorite.
Catherine O'Hara, Fred Willard.
Fred Willard, yeah. That was my favorite. SCTV was my favorite group in those days.
Dave Thomas. Yeah. Magnificent.
Joe Flaherty.
Joe Flaherty.
I told Joe one time at the Improv, I said, Joe, do you have any idea how much of an impact you had on us? He goes, really, Dom? I go, yeah. We quote you guys every day. Guy Caballero, Johnny LaRue. Remember the exercise program he had? He would open the refrigerator. It was so brilliant. I got a call one time. You know how your agents don't get it? From Dave Thomas called me, and he said, he called my agent, and they wanted to book me for one of his Showtime things. And my agent turned it down without telling me. I go, are you fucking kidding me? Because it was only $1,200. I said, I don't give a fuck. I work with him for free. I didn't even know. I'm impressed that he knows me. And then he got it back from me. But man, what the fuck?
Yeah.
I was in a series with Edith Brickley,
Andrew Martin.
Andrew Martin. Yeah, she was fun.
She's brilliant.
She's
wonderful
David
person.
Wayne series. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was a lot of fun. But she was cool to work with. We did 21, I think, and out, something like 13 and out, I forget.
Awesome. Yeah, they're all hilarious. And Fred Willard seems to be the grand master of a kind of category of comedian that is the male, pompous kind of a doof.
Yeah, yeah.
That, you know, Ted Knight held the crown for a while, a pompous male doof, but with him gone, who's going to be the new crown holder for it? And he is it. And then, of course, there's Danny McBride, and Will Ferrell does some of it.
Will Ferrell's
Rob Corddry has great male douchiness down, you know, genius level work.
Will Ferrell will do anything. I mean, him doing that cheerleader on Saturday Night Live.
Yeah.
I mean, he really has no boundaries. He is fucking hilariously
The way he
wacky.
moves that big old body of his,
yeah.
you know, it's hilarious.
I mean, I thought he was great in Anchorman. You know, you think, I wonder how hard some of that stuff is. You know how hard it is to write, and then you think the funniest scene was him with a big boner sticking out, and his what was the girl from Married with Children?
Yeah.
She was the wife or the girlfriend at the time. But just not getting back to Robin. You started doing improvs with him. Elaine introduced you to him.
Yeah, and then he heard I played, and then he, you know, we would do the first few playing times as he does a joke, I do a joke. He does a joke, he does 3 jokes, I do a joke. But we weren't really interacting at first.
Oh.
We were testing the water with each other, you know. But then soon enough, it started to be character interactions and doing scenes back and forth and building confidence in each other's rhythm. To become like 2 musicians, you start to know, like you're syncing.
Right.
Yeah, we synced finally, and once we synced, it took off, you know.
Yeah, I never knew how he even knew I did improv. I guess there was.
Well, you were known for it, Dom.
Yeah, but I didn't know he would know it. You know, he came in from L.A. and he was with Robin Williams. You know, he wasn't a guy that hung out at the clubs. I was just.
Well, I'm sure improvers ask who's improving around this place.
It's really a cool thing, isn't it? It's like when it goes well, you know.
There's nothing like it.
You know, Michael Patrick King.
Sure do.
Well, him and I were doing one night, and we literally couldn't get out of a ditch. We were digging a ditch, and we were digging an improv ditch for ourselves.
Improv ditch, yeah.
And then it got funny because we couldn't get out of it. We tried to get the light, we tried to close the scene, and it was just endlessly boring. But it got so boring and tedious that people started laughing. You know what I mean? It was like bizarro world. We tried. Yeah. When you're in that hole, it's really hard to get out of. And we were literally in a hole. I think it changed from a ditch to a trench. Something clever happened.
Well, that's the most exciting place to get yourself out of. Mm-hmm. That's what set list is like.
Yeah.
It's resetting to the bottom of the ditch and up again with each bit.
Explain to these guys what set list is.
Set list is an improvised stand-up show that's like Whose Line Is It Anyway, but for the solo performer on stage. Microphone, projection screen off to your left, and you turn where you can't use your set material. You kind of like, that's frowned upon in set list. So they want you to bring brand new material and think of it as you're being challenged. So you'll be talking, hi folks, it's nice to be here. And you know why I'm here to talk to you? It's because I'm a firm believer in baby traffic. It'll say something like that.
Right,
just make it added impossibility points for digging your way out of that bottom of that hole and on up again.
Was that Paul Provenza?
Yeah, Paul Provenza produces it. It was the creation of Troy Conrad.
Oh, okay, it was Troy.
And Paul has helped form it and shape it and has subsequently been one of the guys to really make it take a solid form.
Yeah, because I did the green room, and I know that those guys did that, or Paul did that. And
yeah.
We went up in Montreal this year, right?
Not this year. You went up.
Yeah, and we did a thing. We did a tribute to a lot of the comedians that have passed, and it was Dave Attell, and not Dave. Dave was still alive.
Dave's around. I've been listening to him on the XM Sirius.
It was Dave, Bill Burr, Bobby Kelly, Provenza, and I forget the Canadian comedian that was on. I apologize, brother. But it was interesting. We talked about Rich Jenny and John Panette and Bill Hicks and a couple other guys. And it was just weird thinking of all these comedians dropping off, you know? It's like, I'll tell you what's something
Geraldo,
funny.
yeah.
Geraldo was part of it. I love Greg. And Mitch Hedberg, my boy. Mitch Hedberg. I used
Look how influential. Have you heard how many comics kind of sound like the way he puts words together now?
Who, Mitch?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Like you're one of the influencers. There's a lot of Dominesque acts out there, and there's he's had a big influence. Like the Robin had a lot of Robin-esque people afterwards, you know.
Yeah, they tried, but it's pretty hard to be that.
No,
funny.
but you can see what happened, and that's huge
Yeah.
when someone can make that much of an influence.
Yeah. Yeah, the only thing I ever saw anybody do close to my stuff was the rhythm thing. Because I can't really write jokes. I write rhythm. I write in rhythm things, like lists and stuff.
Yeah,
And I
because
saw,
you're a musician.
I don't know, you're a musician.
You're the musician.
Rick-
I heard your stuff.
You're, now, your mom was a singer, right?
One of the Cordettes.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. Lollipop, Mr. Sandman. Now, she wasn't in the recording version. She was in the road version when one of the gals got pregnant, couldn't do the road.
Oh, okay.
She stepped in and did
Oh, she
car
must have been a hell of a
shows
singer
and
then.
county fairs and all that, but she was, you know, she
You
nailed the
could
part.
sing, right?
I do a little sing.
Do you play?
Harmonica, blues harmonica. I play with Skip Heller and the Blues Destroyers, Hollywood Blues Destroyers.
I remember Bruce Willis used to play.
Yeah. Yeah.
He loved it. He loved being.
Still, he's a great harp player.
Well, and Bruce loved the music, and I remember when he got some power. First thing he did was create a band. You know, it's like a fantasy for comedians.
Sure.
Just like,
Well, wouldn't you?
yeah.
Would
fuck
you
yeah.
love a band? Come up, ladies and gentlemen. Dom Irrera and the, what would they be?
Domettes.
And the Domettes. The
Five.
Dominators.
5 big black chicks, all hot, with the feminine, that big tits, big ass body,
Yeah.
just like I like them.
Yeah, right. Like an R. Crumb drawing.
Do you have a type? When people go, that's your type. I have no type.
One that goes like this.
Yes, I will. I don't really have a type because I was with Lisa, who's Jewish, New York. I was with Kim, who was California blonde, big tits.
Mm-hmm.
Sophie, who's hot, French Canadian. You know, Terry, my college girlfriend, was an all-American, black hair, green eyes, beautiful girl.
You're like James Bond.
I guess
Every film, it's a different nationality.
that's true. Yeah, yeah, he had some beautiful. Ursula Andrews, was she one of the James Bonds?
That's right.
She was
A
hot.
German.
You know who was really pretty too? Beyonce in Mike Myers' movie, in Austin Powers.
A big,
Remember, she was like a
big
teenager.
golden fro.
Oh, right.
Isn't that weird?
Rick,
Weird.
I wanted to say one other thought about Robin before. Well, not that we're ever gonna let go of him, but he never bragged.
No,
He never
bragged.
fucking
humble,
bragged.
very shy and humble guy.
I never heard him say a word about his movie, about this. I mean, it was incredible. Because some of it you like to hear because you like the guy and you're rooting for him. Like if you got something and didn't tell me you got a movie, I go, Rick, why you tell me?
Yeah.
Well, I don't want to brag. But that's not bragging,
Right.
it's sharing.
Sure.
It was amazing.
Oh, man.
Like I talked about how he would come in the improv with no entourage. Eddie Murphy had guys with walkie-talkies, helicopters coming over the place. You know, people rappelling down the walls.
Yeah.
And you know, Eddie really had that star thing, the Elvis thing going. And Robin didn't give a fuck. He just came in with his hands in his peak going, hey guys, how you doing? You know, it was amazing. I never saw anybody.
A very zen individual.
And yet people didn't really, you know, I mean, I was in the Green Kitchen one night with him, the place near Catch.
Mm-hmm. Just
And
2 blocks away.
These ladies are going, what do you think of our tits? They had bras on, but they're lifting up, and Robin goes, oh, you know. And he doesn't, I said, man, you're so fucking good with people. And he goes, yeah, you just got to be patient, you know, and just let them do their. The husbands were there, and they're showing Robin their tits. I mean, fucking crazy.
Yeah, I'd let you fuck my wife. As long as you don't mind me sitting in the dark with night vision goggles and a brandy snifter. You two go right on ahead. Don't mind me.
Yeah. Can I hold your hand when you're fucking? That's the funniest thing about those. What is it called? I forget the series. There's one series where the wives get fucked by like some porn star, and I love when they're holding hands, like so sweet and innocent, like they
Should
go
know,
pro.
like, thank you, honey. Happy birthday, darling.
Oh man.
I'll hold this against you the rest of your life.
Hey, did you go to the Comedy Store thing that they had for him?
Yeah, I did.
How was that?
It was good.
Was it?
It was good for the spirit to do. We all had to do it. It was necessary, and we did it.
I know. I was in Florida, man. I couldn't get out of a gig, but I really wanted to be there. They called me up. I just wanted to make sure enough people knew him and represent him, you know.
No, absolutely.
You got up, huh?
I did.
What did you talk about? Just
At the time, I was talking about the fact that I wanted to make sure the meme going out was not the one put out by
yeah, that's what you told me.
Shepard Smith or by Rush Limbaugh, that this was either liberalism killed him or he's a coward. And I wanted to make very clear that this surgery changes the chemistry of your brain.
Yeah.
And you fall into a depression that goes past anything we recognize in the person. It overtakes them. And it overtook him because it was the perfect storm. It was coming at him from the direction of Parkinson's. It was coming at him from the direction of heart surgery. And whatever medication was crisscrossing and overlapping, and the two should never have touched.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, you know.
Well, you know, CNN called me, and I made a mistake by going down there, and I was just shocked. You know, I was sad.
We're still in shock when we did this.
Yeah, and I said, look, the last thing I want to do is capitalize on my friend's death. Well, I just found out about two hours ago. I said, and get publicity for myself. I said, I don't want to talk about me. I don't want to talk about, and I just want to, and if I can talk about how sad it is, then I'll do it. She says, that's fine. You know, and I had a couple stories that were funny about him, but, you know, I wanted him to know that the primary thing was the mourning period. It just started. I get on there, fucking Pat O'Brien's talking about how Robin hugged him when he came out of rehab and all this fucking thing.
But they're trying to make it all about rehab again.
Rehab.
Man. This isn't about that anymore.
Right, the rehab and the the brain chemistry thing and about like all this technical shit. And I'm thinking, and I just said something. I said, look, it's sad. I said, in the Beatles song, it's getting better all the time. Paul McCartney singing, and then John Lennon said it couldn't get much worse. Well, this is one of those moments.
Yeah,
There's no bright side. It couldn't get much worse, you know? And if he was out of his pain, I guess you can rationalize that that's a bright side, but, you know, we don't feel that way. We feel like, why couldn't we saved him? Why couldn't something have saved him, you know? But anyway, I was just so sorry I even went on the fucking thing.
I was there to defend his actual story.
Well, I wish I had talked to you before I went on. I tried to call you. I called you a couple times. We kept missing each other.
I'm sorry, man.
No, but
I wasn't. Your box fills up. There's no way to return a call.
Oh, it's fucking whores. Actually, I haven't gotten a whore since I started taking blood pressure medication.
Oh, like a oral Papa vein.
No, I'm just not as horny. I'm just more like a regular guy, not like an Italian guy. Just like a regular white mook.
Once a week instead of once a day.
Fucking every 5 minutes, I was like a monkey. I would have hookers crossing in the halls. Are you going to 302? Yeah, I just got out of there. How is he? He just came, but I think he's ready to come again. I was in New Zealand, and it's legal, and I'm thinking, this isn't fun. The whole thing is you want it to be dirty and illegal.
Oh, yeah.
You know?
But they're prettier and clean and...
Yeah. I could go out with them. I want a pig. I want a big fat pig. I mean, if I get a hooker, I want somebody that I couldn't get in real life, like a 6 foot tall, big tits, fucking big, you know, somebody I wouldn't walk with. If she was walking me, I'd feel like a monkey, you know. So yeah, I saw. You know, it's funny because I was in Amsterdam with Sophie, and Sophie was so pretty. Remember?
Gorgeous.
And she didn't think any of the girls were pretty, and I thought they're fucking smoking. But I'm not going to stand there and tell my girlfriend that they're hot.
No, you had to agree.
Oh yeah.
Roll with that one.
Yeah, I mean, I even actually wrote a joke about it, but I don't need to do the joke. But maybe I do need to.
You need to do the joke.
Well, the joke was she said we're in Copenhagen. And she says, you think these Danish women are pretty? I go, well, like these 6 foot tall, natural, busty blondes with the piercing blue eyes? Puh. I love you, my little circus chimp. Come here, walk me to the tent, Bippo. Yeah. So we go back a long ways, Rick, and
Good Lord,
we go back to Debbie, when you were going out with Debbie.
That's right.
Remember she changed her name to Duperry?
That was her last name the whole time.
What's it? What?
Her name is Debbie Duperry.
What the name? Remember, what was the name she had for years?
Debbie.
No, but she had another last name.
Debbie Duperry.
Well, I thought she changed her name.
No. There's always Debbie DePere.
Oh, really?
Yeah. We call her Debbie Doo.
Maybe that.
Debbie Doo.
Well, it's funny because we went out one night. Her, Silver, and I. We went to the 11th Street Diner.
Yeah.
Yeah, some people just go from one extreme to the other.
Yeah.
She's not eating. She's on a diet. She's got to lose weight. Debbie, I said, "Oh, Debbie, whatever you want. Silver and I are eating." She goes, "Nah, I'm really trying to lose weight. It's late at night. The worst thing to do is eat and go to sleep." I said, "Oh, I don't know if it's the worst thing," but then she goes, "You know what? Maybe I will have something. How about a Taylor pork roll with egg and cheese?"
I've done that too.
I said, "So you went from 0 to 100? You went from like nothing? You couldn't have a bowl of oatmeal?"
I know this weakness well.
Now you've been with a lot of women in our years as friends. You've been out with some comedians, right?
Yeah.
What's that like?
Well, depending on how competitive the two of you are, it can be like you get to help out a little bit. If they're newer at it than you are, you get to hand down some things that'll help and see how it goes.
So you like playing the daddy role, huh?
Oh, well, I didn't look at it there. I was looking more like college professor.
Yeah, that's sexier.
Yeah, with
Daddy's
dodgy educational ethics.
How am I ever going to pass this course?
Well, let me think. I have an idea. It sounds crazy, but it just
You
might
would
work.
just for that? An A? I'd never had an A. How many comedians have you been out with? Come on, Rick. Nobody's watching this. Except for the devil.
5.
5?
Not to the same extent.
Well, Debbie was a singer, right?
She's an actor.
She's an actor. You keep in touch with her?
I do all the time, constantly.
Oh, that's cool.
We talk all the time.
I'll tell her I said hi.
I sure will. And she's a wardrobe person now. She works in New York doing wardrobe for features and plays. And very successful.
You know who does that? Greg Giraldo's wife,
Oh,
Mary Ann.
well, maybe she knows Deb. They're both back in New York.
You miss New York at all?
Yeah,
Do you really?
sometimes I do.
I don't miss it.
You don't miss it at all. I miss walking around like that.
No.
But
I missed the fun of the camaraderie of the improv and the comic strip and all that, but I don't miss the city. Too much fucking pee stench. But the guys like it. I mean, Colin likes it. Colin Quinn, when, Jerry always wanted to go back to New York. He had the greatest series ever, and then he went back to New York. So I don't put it down, but they put me down. You like California? You like LA? Like there's something fucking wrong with me. I got a disease. I'm happy. I'm sorry.
yeah.
I wouldn't move back there. Obviously, if I had like a tremendous gig, I would, but I wouldn't want to.
Right. Yeah, and so what I hear in the grapevine is that they're bringing the tax break back to Los Angeles for feature film
that's good.
and
They
TV
better.
production.
It's fucking killing them.
It's killing us here without that.
Yeah.
So thank God
Someone
someone's
do something
starting
to hurt the state. It's like.
Yeah, it's one of our products. State by state, it's going to fall until the whole nation's done. Because every state that is doing it is prospering. The ones right next to them are dying.
Well, it's like casinos.
That won't last.
Now casinos are going everywhere.
Yeah.
And it's killing
Income's
Atlantic City.
Yeah.
That's my turf.
Oh, right. Casino business is spreading out from the isolated spots where
Yeah.
they had to funnel everybody to one place.
Right. The only thing I'm
Right.
I'm
I
lucky-
never thought of that.
Yeah.
Dom, that's your bread and butter, man. What are you
Yeah.
doing about it? What's going on?
Well,
you
I'm
gonna work
lucky.
you gonna go to the other casinos too?
No, because I'm at the Tropicana.
Yeah.
And it's one of the only ones that's in the black, and it's just a fucking great casino. And the guy that runs it, the CEO, a guy named Tony Rodeo, he's just brilliant. And they have it going. And you know what's great about it? They have like all ages of people. They have teenagers who can't drink but just love being part of the thing, walking around, and young people and really old people. It's not like a Walker old people, just old people that have vitality to them, and so it's a great mixed crowd. And they got great restaurants. I sound like I'm doing a promo for them now, but
Yeah, right.
I guess in a way I am. Yeah. What do you got coming up, Rick? Are you going out of
Well,
town?
I was just on an episode of TNT's Murder in the First, and I'm going out to Albuquerque, New Mexico this Labor Day weekend. I'm going to perform at the, hang on, I'll tell you what the name of it is. I got it right in front of me here. Boom. It's gonna be, come on, goddamn.
I got Denver Comedy Works coming up, and some of my favorite gigs are coming up this time of year. Bananas in Hasbrook Heights.
Oh yeah?
The Governors, Brokerage, November. You know, I love those gigs.
Oh, Governors, you tell them I say hello?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah. I got a podcast. I got my podcast called Overview going on.
Yeah, right.
And
Yeah, I was trying to do it one night. Then that Robin Williams came in and
yeah,
butted
right?
in.
Yeah. What a fun time we had up there.
But that was a magical night.
Magical
And I
night.
appreciate you asking Robin to do my podcast. And
Yeah.
obviously, you know, we didn't do it, but it was really nice thought and very generous of you and him. You know.
Yeah. I was all planning on, I was, booked to do the Throckmorton on the 9th, September. And so I'll, get up there and we'll say some nice things. Yeah.
Are you still going to do it?
I'm still doing it, man.
Good.
I'm going to go through whatever I have to go through. Because that's the deal. Because if I didn't do it, like what is that honoring?
Nothing.
It doesn't honor shit.
No. We can't get him back.
Can't get them back. Mostly I'm just scared of what I'm going to act like when I'm up there. But I shouldn't be scared of it. At this point in my life, I shouldn't be afraid of whatever happens to me up there during one of these.
I broke down a couple times. It was weird because you never know how much somebody means to you until a moment like that. You know, you wish you could appreciate people in life more, but it just really hit me. I guess because I thought of him as such a gentle soul.
Yeah.
And for him to be tortured like that and for him to take himself out that way,
Yeah.
just fucking unbelievable. It just broke my heart.
Unbelievable is really like a key word because knowing what you know about him, this is so a-characteristic
Yeah.
that there must have been some other elements because everything has an actual reason. And it takes us back to, you can't think of it in terms of this was his cowardice and he bailed out. It was no longer him.
Oh, I don't think of it that way. Yeah, I agree. It was no longer him. I mean, it
Was that guy that we know wouldn't have done that. He'd have
No.
figured another way out unless the chemistry changed. Now that set of decision-making skills is down.
Yeah. And that's what we have to live with because it's impossible that he would do that to the people that loved him.
Right, that's
himself.
my whole point. That's what I'm trying to say. I know him too well for that.
Yeah. I know. I can't believe we're sitting here talking about it because it seems like yesterday we were upstairs doing your podcast.
Just it feels like yesterday.
Yeah.
I expect him to walk in.
That was probably 4 months ago, right?
Yeah, a little more than that.
Was it?
Yeah.
Because it's right when he started his series, right before he started the series.
Right. Yeah, about 6-7 months ago.
Yeah.
Yeah. God.
Well,
Wow,
thanks.
we were lucky, weren't we? Weren't we lucky?
Yeah, to know him.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Lucky break, huh?
Yeah, yeah. It's funny because some people said, I didn't know you knew him that well. I go, well, why would I tell you that? It sounds like name dropping and bragging. It's not like we hung out like you and him hung out, but I always considered him a buddy. I was always glad to see
He
him.
loved you, man.
Yeah, I could feel it. I mean,
Yeah.
it was cool. Anyway, next time you come on, we'll talk about a happier thing, but thank you for this
Well, this
catharsis.
is a healing. We needed this, man. I was waiting to talk to you.
I appreciate it, Rick, because I never got a chance to mourn him,
I'm still working on it because I'm so busy doing other things. I call it sharking.
Yeah.
Yeah, when it's too big to look at it once, I start sharking, which means I'll just little taste, a little sample, but mostly I'm not completely letting it hit me all at once by staying too busy.
Tom Sawyer must have hit him hard. I know he loved him.
We spoke.
Yeah. Tom Sawyer was the guy who owned
Cobb's.
up in San Francisco, and Robin used to come down and do improvs. And so funny how some people looked at it, they go, oh, Robin's here. Like that means you're going to take their time. And I'm thinking, Robin's here. This is fucking great. Robin Williams came.
Yeah.
Yeah,
you're supposed to treat it like the magic it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, thanks, Rick. And I'll
Thank
see
you,
you
Tom. I
next
love you,
time.
buddy.
Love you too. Rick Overton, everybody. Give him a hand. Robin Williams, we love you. Take care. See you next time.